Hi Virgo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your April 2022 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic Cross spread as always, and I also pulled the 4 agreements, Oracle card, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. Alright, so we have 7. So 7th house for you guys is Pisces, and at the time of recording this, we're technically still in Pisces season, so it makes sense that there'll still be some residual effect from that. And speaking of Pisces, we also got Pisces in the dice, and we already discovered what that was about. And we also have Neptune, which, believe it or not, is also in Pisces. So a lot of 7th house energy coming up for you guys, to say the least. That's kind of unique, actually, but we'll keep that in mind as we go through the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the 9 of Swords. So this is actually Gemini energy here, and this could just be saying that you guys might be overthinking the situation, possibly feeling like you might not be able to express yourself around the situation as well, possibly losing sleep, just some discomfort in general. Now, for some of you, this can be around career matters, since Gemini energy for you guys is your 10th house of career and social status, but could be almost any area of life. Definitely looks like an energy of overthinking for sure, though. All right, in the challenger obstacle position, we have the 4 of Wands. So this is Aries energy here, and how this is coming across to me, primarily, it could just be saying that you might feel like you're not where you want to be at this point, right? Because if we look at this looks like completion of goals, right? Definitely very much a celebratory type of energy, and said this for another sign too, I can't remember who, but in the northern hemisphere anyway, as we roll into April, that's going to be spring kicking into full effect, and that's usually when people like to look at their goals, set new goals, right? So it could just be as simple as that for some of you. Maybe you're like, oh man, I thought I'd be further ahead than where I was right now. Maybe you plan on getting a whole lot of things done, but during the winter you just weren't really feeling it, right? Things along those lines. But that's what I'm seeing here. It looks like there's probably some disappointment on your part from where you thought you would be versus where you actually are right now. All right, in the foundation position, we have the 10 of Swords. So more Gemini energy here, and in a more positive sense, this could just be saying that you'll finally get to the point where you've exhausted yourself around thinking around a situation, and you finally start to put it behind you. But for others of you, this could just be saying that to be mindful of that's where this path leads, right? Where if you just constantly think and think and think about something without any action, right, then eventually it's going to lead nowhere. So it could just be more or less nudging you to say, hey, okay, that's great to go through that to a certain extent, but if you overdo it, it's not really going to lead to anything productive. All right, in the past position, we have the King of Pentacles, Taurus energy, 7 of Swords, Aquarius energy, and Queen of Pentacles, Capricorn energy. So what's interesting to me about these 3 cards is they all have the yellow background, right? And we also see that in the challenge position. So for some of you, this could point to what may have taken place that may have prevented you from being in this position, right? So for example, we see the we see the King first, that 7 of Swords energy, and then the Queen. So that could point to some kind of loss, right? Moving down from the King to the Queen position with some seeming deception in between. So for some of you, maybe you made some bad investments, for example. For some of you, even could have been self-deception, right? Where maybe you thought that you had a certain level of stability, and you might have taken that for granted. So just a super generic example, maybe you were used to making, I don't know, $3,000 a month, right? And all of a sudden the price of everything's going up. So you're just used to your usual spending habits, but without adjusting them and the price of everything around you going up, you could take a loss there, right? So it doesn't have to be a huge thing, but conceptually, that's what I feel like it is. It could point to some kind of loss. For some of you, it could have been through others. And like I said, for others of you, it could have been through your own cutting corners or just not seeing the situation clearly, where you might have been self-sabotaging yourself in that regard. In the present position, we have the 6 of Pentacles. So this is Taurus energy here, and this can represent some balance being restored there. At the very least, could just be saying that as we move into Taurus season, which would be toward the end of April and May, you might start to see some of that balance come in. So if there were some kind of losses that you might have taken on a more financial end of the spectrum, you might be seeing some rebalancing coming through there this month. And for others, this could just be a shift in perspective as well. So this energy here is ninth house energy for you guys, and that could represent philosophy, higher learning, foreign affairs. So, for example, maybe through that loss, you might have learned and decided that you want to help others, right? Because you experienced that for yourself, and you're like, okay, I know how it feels to go through that situation. So maybe you are still in a fairly good position, and you might want to give to others at this time. All right, in the near future position, we have the Knight of Wands. So this is definitely an action-oriented energy here. It is Sagittarius energy, and what I would say is, going back to what I was saying there, if there was some kind of blockage, for example, if you had finances that were held up, right? Could even be as simple as maybe you were promised money by a certain date, and then that date came and went, and the money never came through, right? So it could have had you stuck for a bit with that Nine of Swords energy. Like, okay, I had these things I wanted to get done by, let's say, toward the end of Aries season, right? And now you're like, okay, well, without that financial backing that I was expecting, I can't really get it done, right? So it comes through. The Knight of Wands could then represent you guys jumping into action, like, okay, finally, I got what I needed. Now I can move forward with the situation. All right. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the World, the Hermit, which is the major arcana card for you guys, and the Ten of Cups, which is Pisces energy, which we obviously saw in your dice as well. So interesting here. It could just be saying on another end too, where whatever this situation is might get cleared up, right? So again, like I said, for a lot of you, I feel like this was some kind of financial thing, and we mentioned already the different angles that could have come from. So let's say that gets cleared up from what we see from the energy. And now, because of that, that might free you up to actually look toward other areas of your life, right? So, okay, I got this one thing that was racking my brain cleared out finally, and now I could shift my focus to other areas, right? And given that this is Pisces energy, and you guys got all kinds of Pisces energy in your dice, for some of you that could be around a romantic relationship, right? So, like I said, a super generic example, you're going through a bit of financial difficulty, and you're like, okay, well, this wouldn't be a good time to pursue a love relationship until I get that all figured out, right? You get that figured out, now you're more open to pursuing that type of connection. So there's many other ways that could go. Could just be saying that now with this blockage cleared, you're just possibly looking at what your vision of happiness would be in general, right? Like, okay, I finally got what I needed that was holding me up for a bit, and okay, now that I have it, what's my goal, right? One of those situations. And I will say with the World card showing up there, it looks like whatever this pause may have been, it looked like it did serve a greater purpose for you guys, and it looks like you learned the lesson successfully there, and you will be moving forward. All right, in the environment position, we have the Hangman. So yeah, this is usually what I view as Pisces energy here. And like I said, at the time of recording this, we're still in Pisces season. And on top of that, this could just be saying that what I was just mentioning with the World card, which is to say that, the energies that play might have actually been purposely putting you in that position to where you did have to look at things from a different perspective for a while, right? Shift your perspective and your position around some things and figure out the best way forward from there. So could have just been as simple as that during Pisces season. Could just be saying that was the mode you're in, right? Like, okay, I feel a little bit stuck. So what is this trying to teach me, right? Looking at things from a different perspective. Sagittarius energy could point to that sometimes as well. And then that gets you the forward movement that you needed. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Eight of Cups. So more Pisces energy here. Now, for a lot of you, I'm going to assume this is a hope, right? Where you're saying that you're hoping to leave behind things that aren't fulfilling you, things that don't inspire you. And like we said, it looks like you were definitely in a bit of a dark energy for a while, possibly even still into April you might be initially. But I feel like this is saying for the most part, you're leaving that behind. All right. And in the outcome position, we have the Eight of Swords. So you have all three of the Gemini cards there as far as that goes. You have the 9, the 10, and the 8 now. But for the majority of you, I feel like this is, I would sometimes take this as more of a negative thing, but here I feel like it's kind of a positive, but it's just saying that now you need to catch up to where you are. What I mean by that is you might have gone through so much overthinking the situation, right? And now those shackles may have been freed from you guys, right? Like, okay, you're in the clear now. Whatever the situation is seems to be cleared up. But on your part, there could still be some reluctance to move, even with that, right? So, I mean, in a way, understandable, right? You go through some difficult things, and even if that energy starts to clear up, you might now, from then on, be a lot more cautious in how you move forward, right? So you don't repeat the same thing in the future. So, in that regard, I see where that would come from. But yeah, at least from what I'm seeing from the surrounding energies, it doesn't look like there's really an opportunity for you to repeat that cycle again. Looks like you did clear that successfully with the World card there, but again, like I said, mentally you just might still feel a little bit wary, like, okay, I don't want to jump into anything here after what I've just gone through, right? So that's what I see with that. And bottom of the deck, we have Judgment. So usually I view this as Scorpio energy, and while there's not really much going on there astrologically, well, we do have the South Node in there, and in May there's going to be a full moon in Scorpio, and that'll be an eclipse. But aside from that, though, I was going to say there's not really anything astrologically going on there. But for you guys, Scorpio being the natural rulers of the eighth house, for you guys, your eighth house is Aries, and obviously there's going to be plenty of energy going on there as we move through April. So this could just bring something back around again for review. Looks like it will work out in a positive way as well. So this could also be a situation where maybe you thought you may have missed an opportunity around something, and that may come back up again this month. All right, so moving on to your four agreements card, we have don't take anything personally. It says everyone lives in their own dream. Okay. It says all people live in their own dream and their own mind. They are in a completely different world from the one we live in. So, interesting message there. Definitely sounds like a good message to think about with Pisces season in general, right? Where people just might be in their own world for a bit, but hopefully that resonated. All right, and next we have All That Glitters. There's the artwork, and the number is 16. So this is from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, by the way, but we'll see what the messages are there. Okay, it says a need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, being mercurial. The Oracle's message: it's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title or position, the stamp of authority, or the sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will elevate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe beneath the surface. Learn to recognize the mask people wear and motives underlying them. Imagine that all the glitter is gone. Would you still desire the object or person? So, definitely an interesting message there, especially because for some of you I mentioned that through a loss you guys might have gone through financially, that might actually shift your perspective to where now you might actually want to go out and help people as well, right? Feeling like, okay, I know what it feels like to be in that position. So, for those of you who feel that energy, that message probably resonated the most, but hopefully you all got something from that. All right, and the relationship message says, sometimes we try to become something we're not to impress others. We embellish a story a bit, adding some dramatic elements to make us more appealing. The real person becomes hidden behind the sparkle and shine. Then there are times when we don't see the true value of someone else because he or she may not have the glitz and glamour that seems so desirable. Now is the time to look past the surface, beyond the mask, to the essence of a person. Who that person is, not what he or she has or can give you, is important. See beyond the glitter and look for the inner glow. Use the eyes in your heart. Let go of artifice and let what is authentic shine. Pretty positive message there too, and ironically, even though there was so much 7th house energy that came up in your dice, and I mean even a couple cards pointing to that as well, I didn't really get much of a one-to-one relationship vibe from the spread as a whole. More of, like I said, it seems like maybe clearing up other blockages in your life can free up the room for that area of your life. But hopefully that resonated with you guys. Worst case, the love readings will be out next week. All right, and the prosperity message says sometimes an opportunity looks so good that it glitters like gold and you just can't resist it, especially when it appears others are doing so well and have hit the mother lode. During the American gold rush, everyone hurried west to find their fortune and then deserted entire towns after the mining depleted the gold veins in the earth. So, too, can you deplete yourself as you chase after the latest shiny thing that has caught your eye. There is a mercurial quality to your present circumstances. Pay no attention to those who chase after fool's gold. Resist the temptation to be jealous of others. What they have achieved may not be the true success you seek, so don't compare yourself to them. You see only the surface right now, only the sparkle. Be assured that you will experience your own shining moment if you stick to what you know. All that glitters may not be gold for you. So definitely a pretty positive message there as well. Hopefully that resonated. And lastly, we have a mudra for you guys. So this is your mudra here. It's the Sahasrara Mudra, and the keyword for it is interconnectedness. All right, there's a lot of info on this card. So what I'll do first, let's get it to focus, or maybe not. All right, let's try this again. There we go. So I'll hold it up here if you want to pause it to take a screenshot to read what it has to say, and then I'll move it up a bit because there's some more info that's not fitting in the screen right now. All right, so under benefits, it says improves brain function, reduces headaches, increases concentration, stimulates the pituitary and pineal glands, benefiting all of the endocrine glands, nourishes the hair, activates the body's self-healing power, calms the spirit, induces feelings of connection with all life. So that sounds like a mudra you think will be beneficial for you guys. We'll put the name of it in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.